Welcome to my room and to flow state, where we attempt to enter the flow state. We're going to make some sounds today. I've got some equipment set up. I'm going to turn the camera and then I'll show you real quick here. I have this other old retro SD, like standard definition camera. You can see it here. I have it facing the other direction. I don't have a fucking nice camera to point at shit. I have this one camera here mounted above my monitor, and it's kind of immovable without disassembling days of fucking setup. And I use this for everything else I do. So we're going to try this thing just so you can kind of see some of what I have in here. Ideally, I have like 3 or 4 fucking cameras with really nice stands to set them on so I can point at shit, but I don't have any of that stuff. I have an old phone and I thought I'd try using it. That fucking piece of junk, dude. I spent so many days trying to get that piece of shit to work. It tries to connect to a network constantly. And it just, anytime you try to do anything with it, it like breaks the program you're trying to use. Cause it's like, no, trying to connect. And I can't disable it. I tried days trying to get that thing to work. And then I can't even get video out of it. I bought adapters for it and nothing happens when you plug them in. It won't send any video out of the phone. And I'm just like, dude, fuck this thing. Forget this thing. Fucking get it. So we're going to try to use this old, like 25-year-old digital video camera. You know, you can kind of see, it gives it a vibe. There's a vibe there. It's kind of weird, a little unsettling, maybe like a horror movie. I kind of like that. There's a dead pixel at bright red spot. It's like a dead pixel or something. And it just keeps getting worse, it looks like. But we're going to try it. I'm going to move this camera here so you can see some of this stuff. And then I can't use the mic anymore because it's going to be like across the fucking room. And then I'm just going to make some sounds. You can kind of see it. I'll switch back here. You can kind of see near the bottom left. I have the Digitakt and Digitone. I made some sounds on and what do you call it? I can't remember the name now. Now that I'm recording, I can't remember anything. I made some patterns and then I chained the patterns. Okay. Let's just get started. Because I've had a hell of a time today trying to make any of this work. And then I'm not really sure how I'm going to change scenes here since I can't get to the computer. I'll probably have to stop what I'm doing and come over here once in a while and press shit on my computer. Let's see if I can even get sound out of any of this shit. Hey, I think that'll do it. I think I'll call it there. Kind of out of ideas at the moment. Unless I like undo a bunch of shit, it'll take way too long. I just wanted to fuck around with a couple things. Let me adjust this camera. That's a little better. It's kind of hard managing all this shit. It's all like so far apart. My mic only goes so far. My camera only turns so much. Someday we'll improve this. But I think that'll be it for now. So until next time, I don't want to say that. I hate saying that. I gotta figure something else out, man. Fuck. But we'll do this again. Because I got other stuff in here. I like doing the patching with the modular systems. It takes so long. You know, like I'll patch a bunch of stuff up and I'm like, oh, I kind of like that. And then I'll want to try something else. It's going to take me another like fucking 30 minutes to undo all the cables and then experiment with other shit. Over here behind me, you can see a keyboard. I want to hook that up sometime soon. It's one of the few synthesizers that I started to actually like feel comfortable with to some extent. It's a Argon 8 wavetable synth. It felt fairly intuitive when I got it. I bought it used, like, I want to say in 2023, maybe. I think it was 2023, like early in the year. I got it used off Reverb. And it was like almost half price. And it looked nearly brand new. But I haven't used it so fucking long. I don't remember how to use it. But I remember liking it. So I feel like maybe we'll do that one next. The one thing about it that I recall is that the effects were not great. There was just something weird about the effects engine on that thing, where once your sound went into the effects, it lost like all of its energy and it sounded like really weak. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? Without the effects, just like the dry, pure sound that you've made was pretty cool. But like as soon as you enabled an effect, it was like the volume of your sound went down like 10 dB or more. And it just didn't sound good. And like the effects were okay, but they weren't like amazing. So I'll probably plug it into something, like some other device. I have a handful of physical effects devices. Like over to my right, you can't see it, but I have a Lexicon MPX1, I think it is. It's old. It's an old vintage stereo multi-effects unit. It has a handful of cool sounds. Maybe I'll try it. But what I might do instead is can see it. I have this. And I got this as well used off Reverb years ago. And it's the Eventide H9 Max. It's got all the effects unlocked. And man, it's cool and it kind of sucks that I believe recently Eventide basically unlocked this thing for everybody. The way this pedal is designed, it's for guitar, kind of, but honestly, you can plug synthesizers and just about anything into it. Yeah, I'd say it almost sounds better on a synth. However, I've gotten some really cool sounds on this with a guitar. There were multiple versions of this thing. And I want to say like the baseline unit with like just a limited amount of effects was like $500, maybe $550. Like it was really expensive. And then if you wanted the max version, it had all of the effects unlocked on it. Dude, this motherfucker was like $700 or $800. Like it was crazy expensive. And so I got it used for like $550 years ago on Reverb. And then recently, I believe Eventide was just like, hey, for all owners of the pedal, everyone gets the max version now. We're like upgrading the software for free. And it kind of sucks because like you think about the people that spent like a couple of $100 more and they get nothing. And the guys that spent a lot less get what they got for hundreds of dollars more. But I didn't buy it brand new, thank goodness. But it is, I don't like the interface. It's got like one button and I find it almost impossible to use. But you can use an app on your phone or on your computer to connect to it wirelessly. And then you've got a nice user interface. And this thing is fucking, it's got some of the best effects I've ever heard. It's essentially like a high-end professional rack unit in pedal form. And this is something weird that happened over the last, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. Instead of, what is that noise? Instead of companies coming out with like a really nice rack unit with all kinds of cool effects, because that used to be what they did. Like everything was, if you wanted a pro piece of gear, it was a rack unit. And something happened. There was like a transition, like all of the big companies like pivoted and they started making little pedals like this thing instead of their big rack units. Like everybody. And I think it was, my guess is because they saw like more opportunity to make money off of people like me, you know, like the little guy is into this stuff. They're not professional. They don't have a studio. They don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on shit. So they started shrinking their stuff down into these little pedals. And they realized like instead of making a nice ass rack unit that does everything, we can take all of the tools that would be in the rack unit and divide them all up into dozens of different pedals and then selling them piecemeal for hundreds of dollars to morons like me. And then you've got this massive pedal collection that is like unmanageable. It takes up way too much space. You got to have cables plugging every fucking thing in. You got to buy special pedal power supplies. You got to plug cables into every single fucking pedal. And then you've got this like massive fucking grid that takes up like 1,000 times. It's like half your fucking room is taken up to have some effects versus having a nice, clean, professional piece of gear that just slides into a rack or sits on a desk and it's got everything in it. And they turned it into this shit show rat's nest mess of shit everywhere. And it feeds on this like many people have this like collector mentality. Oh, that looks cool. And they want to buy it. They can take a basic ass thing like distortion or gain or fuzz or reverb or delay that has been done to death. Like you can't make it any more distorted. You can't make it any more delayed. You can't make it any more lush and reverby, whatever, reverberated. They've done it. They did it like 30 fucking years ago with Pro Gear amazingly well. And then they'll like repackage it into a little tiny pedal for like $500,000. And it's just got like a basic single effect in it with a couple knobs. And then your dumbass buys it because, oh, well, this one's blue. Oh, this one's got like a seashell graphic on it. You know, this one's got it's someone painted a cloud on the side of the pedal and they signed their name with like different colors. And it looks cool. Oh, there's glitter on this one. It's got like glitter. They use the same kind of paint you'd use on a car. It looks all sparkly. And that one's $700 because they use special paint. It's limited edition. They got like the midnight version. It's black. Dude, black's like the cheapest thing. It's like the most cheapest fucking budget ass color. Well, this one's more. Mine's $100 more. So they made it in black. It's so fucking dumb, dude. And people buy it. I have a bunch of pedals down here. Now, some of these are cool. Like I've got this thing here and I'm happy I have it. But I've got this. This is a reverb pedal. And it's like the kind of reverb you'd get in like a professional rack piece of equipment. It's a really cool reverb. But I feel like you get something like, you get a couple, you get this, and you don't need any more. You're done. Maybe a distortion. You'd want a cool distortion. There's some stuff out there that's like really neat. But when I take a step back and I look at the industry from like a bird's eye view, I'm kind of disgusted. Because like I have like vintage stuff that I bought pretty cheap, just like a couple hundred or a few $100s versus thousands. That's old and outdated and it's discontinued. And it's like 1,000 times better than like any of the fucking pedals on the market. Like if you want to have a nice guitar sound with some cool effects, you're looking at like 20 fucking pedals and like thousands of dollars. And you got this massive footprint of shit on your floor or on your table with, like I said, with cables all over the fucking place. It's so hard to manage. And like, good luck keeping it like clean. And like, anytime there's an issue, it's like, which cable is it that's got the problem? Which cable do I need to replace? It's just so dumb. And like, I have in my rack over here, I have this essentially vintage at this point Digitakt, I think it is. It's a Digitakt GSP 1101, I think. I can't really read it from here. It's a multi-effects like guitar rack unit that does, it emulates like it's got all the effects in stereo and they sound amazing. And then it has simulations of guitar cabinets and amps, and it's got like distortions or just like a kind of a dirty, grungy sound, I can't think of the name of it, but it's got like every fucking kind of effect you could think of, and you can stack them. And this thing's old now. It's like 20 years old, I think. And it was just like a couple $100 on like fucking Reverb a few years ago. And I find when I use it, I'm like, damn, dude, this thing sounds better than like most of my pedals when I chain them all together. And it's so clean and easy to use. And they don't make shit like that anymore. Your other option now is to use plugins. And plugins are cool if you want to have everything hooked up to your computer. And, then you need like a decent computer and you've got to deal with latency issues. It's kind of like a double-edged sword or something. Like you're kind of like chained to the computer now. I don't know, man. It's difficult. There's so many different options now, and I feel like none of them are really ideal. And plugins is probably the way to go at the end of the day. But plugins don't really work for a lot of people if they like to play live performances. That's kind of where it falls apart, I feel. Some people make it work, I'm sure, but like for a lot of people, like they want to have a live. I'll tell you what, during the pandemic, I bought most of the stuff I have in here. And I have like, I wish I could use some of it in here. It's just in this apartment, I can't be super loud in here. And some of the shit I have it's like too loud to use. And I don't know, it's like too hot in here to have everything turned on all the time when it's like 115 degrees every day. But I bought an amp, a guitar amp during the pandemic. And like I had like an old cheap amp that I had from many, many years ago. I tried using a lot of different plugins for like amp simulation and cabinet simulation. I have that rack unit I mentioned. And I thought I'd heard some really good sounds. And during the pandemic, I bought a real amp. I wanted a nice real amp, like analog, something that to me would be fucking cool. And I bought this. I forgot the name of it now. It's a Vox. It's an AR. I can't remember the name. It's like AR or something 15. I don't think it says it on it. I haven't even turned it on in a couple of years because it's so fucking loud. turned down to 1 on the volume knob is still too loud. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's a Vox amp and it's fucking nice. I got a deal on it during the pandemic. I got a pretty big discount. I don't remember now what I paid, but it was like significantly discounted. And it's a tube amp. I plug my guitar into that fucking thing. And what it really excels at is clean sounds. And I felt like I'd heard some really nice, clean, pure sounds using plugins and, you know, software, using the rack unit I mentioned. I have a pedal down here. I'll show it. I got a couple of these things. Like I have this, what is it called? Well, I'll just show it. It's a cabinet simulation pedal that does stereo. And it's, what is it, GI Instruments or something? It's just like a symbol. It doesn't actually say it on here. I forget the name of it. I used to like be really into this different brands and shit, and I've kind of fallen out of it over the years, and I don't even remember what the fuck name of this is now. It's a Cab Zeus. I can't remember if it's GI or GFI. I can barely tell what the fuck this symbol says on it. It's just a symbol. But I thought like this thing sounded amazing. I have some other pedals, and plugging my guitar into that fucking Vox amp was like night and day difference to anything I'd ever heard in my life. It was like the most pure, clean, glassy sound. I've never heard anything like it, dude. It sounded so fucking good. It just like, it had like a depth to it, and like it sounded glassy. You know, like glass, not classy, but it also sounded classy. It was amazing, dude. It sounds so good. There's like fucking 6 or 8 giant tubes in that thing, and it gets hot. And then it also has a distortion channel where it can get all dirty and into like distortion territory that you might use for like a lead guitar. But it gets really narrow, the sound. It loses all that depth, and it sounds tight and narrow, but dirty. And I guess that's probably what you'd want if you were playing with a band and you wanted your sound to kind of fit in with the other instruments. You wouldn't want it to fucking take everything up. Maybe one of these days, like, I don't have a good way to like mic it and record it, and it's too fucking loud and hot in this apartment. But like someday, dude, I want to have like a nice setup where I can have my equipment plugged in and like usable. I want to have like a real studio where I can use this shit and I can turn it up and I can actually make shit. I can kind of do it in here, but like I have to use headphones for everything, and I don't have the equipment in here to do everything I want to do. Like I want to be able to use that fucking amp. I bought it because it was like an opportunity, and I'm like, I can get it now. It's on sale, and I'll be set for life. Can't really use it here. One of these days, though, and I don't really play my guitar anymore. That's the other thing. I wanted to play it here in this video, but I don't like, I haven't practiced it in like a year and a half, maybe longer. And it would take me like probably a couple of weeks to really feel comfortable with it. And I don't have calluses anymore on my hands. The strings have to be replaced. And it's got that fucking, I forget the name of it. I forget the names of all this stuff because I don't do it every single day, and then I forget what shit's called. It's just how it works for me. But it's got that type of like tremolo bar where it makes it almost impossible to change the fucking strings. And I didn't know that when I bought it. And I bought the thing, and then I'm like, how the fuck do I, once it came time to change the strings and tune it, I'm like, how the fuck do I do this? It was like almost impossible. And I need to bring it to a pro and get it set up again, because it's like all fucked up now. It's like all out of balance. I can never keep it in tune no matter what I do. And anyway, one of these days I want to get that guitar fucking fixed and taken care of. so I can start using it again and start practicing it. And the other thing, it's just some fucking issue that I seem to have a problem with everything I do. The last time I like really sat down and tried to practice using that thing, I have like a nerve problem in my shoulder and in my neck that bothers me almost daily. And sometimes it gets really agitated. So I'm like always trying to be careful. Like just sitting over here using my modular case, it'll start to act up. It'll get so bad that like the whole like half of my body starts going numb. And I'm like, shit, I have to like stretch my arm out and I have to go like lay down or something. And the last time I tried really practicing using that guitar, like every day for like a week, I was sitting here practicing it for hours. I had such a bad pinched nerve. I couldn't turn my head for about a month. I couldn't even move my head like that. I basically I was bedridden for about a month. I couldn't even move my head. And it kind of like scared me away from doing it again because it was so excruciating and I could barely function as a human. So I don't know how I'm going to overcome that, but I want to fucking use it more, you know? Because like I remember when I was doing it regularly, I was kind of feeling confident about what I was doing and I felt like I was improving myself. And then just my body started getting in the way, I guess. Anyway, I don't want to talk about all that here. I'm ruining the fucking video. I just wanted to experiment, make some sounds, try to be creative, record it. And I want to try doing something different like each time. You know, whether I use some of the same gear again next time, at least I want the sounds to all be different. So until then, I'm going to stop it now and we'll come back later. So goodbye.